Ullukut inukatibut Louisa Yeates tamani ᓐᓐᓗ kavamakkulut angitausimangitunit nunanganittugut atiluttuqarmiyu ᓴᓅᔮᔮ ᓐᓐᓗ Montreal lasuvun. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Louisa Yeates, reporting to you live from the Haudenosaunee unceded territory, ᓴᓅᔮᔮ, also known as Montreal. Ullumit, Orossavut, Amisuit, Amisupalummayut, Ḥanuilulit Mangata, Kanatamit Pivalliajut, Tamani Montrealmi, Nunavimit, Țilaqtuarmilu. Tıᓵᓃkingulipaulangaayut, tusaumavirilangayavut, ttaqqlialiuyavinivut, William Tagunalut, Fall 2025 Modilugut, Råstaqarmissunit, Tamatsuminga Journalism, Imuanit, Hanuqsulit, Pimariunipaumiyut inuit, Tamatsuminga Pinsuqtaariamit. Nakupmi Haisimaratsi, Tıᓵᓃkᓮakoutijiᔪথ. Sivulipa, Uhavirilangayavut, Nunavut, Uyiraqnianik 2026. Taakua Pimaria Lun hattatuit, Uhattauvajuorali hattasutilut, Nunavummit, Amisualuit, Uyiraqniatuit, Nutaani nuititsi hattamata taakkuninganit, Nunavup Iluanit 2026 mit. Harisa hattamatat Amisuit, Hanu Uyiraqnia runnaraya mangata teikanit, Kisiani harisa qaarasua hattatuit inuit teikanimiuyanit. Utuutitillugut taakua Amisualuit inuit pinsuqartaarayarmiyuit harimayau hattasunit kisiani silangat hanu attutaorayarmangaat harisaqasuanginnaatui ḥalunaititu environmental assessment layossuut. Kisiani taakua uyiraqniatiit kayusi rayarpatat inuit maliramminit malireahaqayarmiyut ammalut iluqqusivunnit ummayuvunnilut kamatsiannimmit malireahaqayarmiyut. Kavamakkut angayuqaamaringit uhaarhattatuit taakkuannutaat angirutiitaaratsuartatuit tamatsumingat inuit nunanganit iluqqusivunnit silartuavunnilut kamatsiani riamit. Taakua Nunavut Mining Symposium, Nunaviup uyiraqnianit katingamaringit hattalaqmiyut, iqaluit Nunavut April 20 to 22. Teikaningulaatilu tusaumaralaartalaqmiyusta qannut kayusirunaoqartalaqmangaata. Ammalut una pisipaloqartamanait Minister Masti Gol, Amisualunit kinauyanit nuititsi hattamat inuit mulingayunit turangatuusutit nunavimiunut inuit nuna limaamminut qasa. Amisualuit uhasiakkaukkua harimaniaqatta sunamuussuli tuqainnammangaata taakua kinauyait amisualuit. Nunavik Nunavimu upareittu talooralo missuni uhareittu sunilu hanu taakua kinauyait atungusulaaqmangaata. Taakua ru pimariunipaunut attutaoqartalaqmiyut Food Security and Infrastructure hanungisiarnikut nihinnut ammalut illusannut. April 7 utiluquteikanit uhattalauyummiyut $1 million taakuninganut co-op FCNQ mulingayunit tuqainnartalaqmiyut tamani Montrealmi nutaanit storage layossu ḥalunaititu or food hautik nihi hauti laqmiyut tamani. Ammalu inuit iliniavittuaq uhattauhattaloyumiyu February 2026 ngutilut angit uhattaloyummiyu minister Gol Masti $50 million nit aitui hattalaamiyut or 뚜ᓵᓃ꓃ꓪ tamatsumingat inuit iliniavittuamminut takwa ilunangikatitsurit 228 million inuit nunanganu mulingayunit 뚜ᓵᓃ꓃ ammalo illusannit ammalo social support qanungisiaqnikut takwa 뚜ᓵᓃ꓃tuit ututitilirut 20 million SSasavik project layohattatut atnaub perangilut illuhuti ta riola meyupuvitnitumit ammalo Nutrition North Canada takwa nihivunnit kinarini aitutuisiungumiyut 30 million ni aitui hattalaamiyut tamatsuminga Nutrition Canada North kunnut amissualu inihit hayimayavu akitiutragaluqiausuungummiyut inuit nunanganit takwa kinau Yeates ikayu sihattalaamiyut takuninganit nihinnut teikani ammalon qalunaititu una Northern Isolated Community Initiative Fund angiwalut ni tanna 6.7 million ni aitutoqattalaamiyu ammalo Pivalliajut mitsaanut qalunaititu tuberculosis elimination layoqattatu 27 million nit aitutoqattalaamiyut tallimannit aqaaruni iluanit takwa uhattauhattalauyummiyut Pivalliajut nuqqainatitsiriamit kinauyatatitauqattatut takwa inuit nunanganin amissualui kinau Yeates haitautsiaqattalaami matannaqutsagut pinsuartupaaluqattatuit angayuqaa sivulivut takuninganikamatsianiriamit ammalut takwa tusaumaralassayavut nunavik Qiuqtuamiut nunavik piarait yaanimarikkunit iliniavimmit pisimatsutit April 2 to 5 Valdormo pinguaritutuvini haakinnit ilautitauyuvini takwa Indigenous Hockey Tournament pinguavittuakunut takwa nunaqqaasimayui teikuunaq ilau sirittujuvinit alianaqtupaalussunit takwa amissualuit Cree ammalu asianit nunaqqaasimayui teikuuna ilau sirittutuvinit takwa Qiuqtuamiut yaanimarikuni pisimayuit inutuinorijuvinit alianaqtupaalussutit takwa nakutsasungalu inira takuningani ilaurunnassituvinit pinsuartupaaluqattayuvini takwa yaanimarikkut iliniatingita tamatsuminga aaqhissuiriamit akunialu kinauyaqnit sana hattalauyummiyut amissualuillu ilauqattatuvini nakutsaru takwaruuq pinasuttiit haakitti haakimulingayuttuinaungungitu taanna pinguarittussutik kisianit tamatsuminga confidence hanungisiaqnikut pimmarialuqiauqattatuvinit friendships ilaliurittutuvinit ammalut pitsianik takwa iliniattiit pitsianikkumut ilautitaurunnassujuvinit ilautitausiaqsutilut nakutsahu nakumiralarumatsungalu takwa nira alianaqnipa nirattassuni saala hangituuqalua kisiani iqqaumanginilmaattalaamiyut Valdorlia talaurami nakumi ammalut takwa puvitnitu miu pisipaaluqattamatait alianaqtupaalu runaumiissutilut nutaanit uvikaup illuhutinga ukkuissilaormiuq ammasihallaumisunilut teikua nutaanit youth center qallunaititu layosuut nuititsi hattalaamissunit suuratsatitsi hattalaamissunillu nutaanit taakua ilikkusivunnilut suuratsatitsi hattalaamiut ammalu isimakku qanwingisiaqnikut saputsi hattalaamissunit ammalu suuratsatitsi hattalaamisunilu taakua activities tuqinnatui tamatsumingat qanwingisiaqniku piaravunnit suunguyutitsi hattalaamisunilut tahkuninga taakua pinasuttiit Nunavik youth house lahtaloyummiyut amisoluit kingomatsinirahatta yuviniita tamatsuminga youth center mi puvitnitumit ayuinassia yuviniummata kinaya taarunnasia tuviniit tamatsuminga sanariamit taakua pimmarialunipau riosuungummiyut uvikannut kinayait aitutosia yuviniummata kisianiummat nakutsahum hey March 5 ngutilugu ilauningituk April 5 ngutilugu kutuarapimi ikualatu qalaujummiyut pinasuit inurunaituviniit Easter morning Easter Sunday morning April 5 ngutilugu Reverend Tom Martin teikani ayuhuttui rio hattatuviniit wampakustui ammalukutuarapimi muulingajunit atnahapmisunilu Marianne Martin ammalu ingutanga Rowan Martin ilunnangi atautiku inurunaituviniit Chief Robbie Kawapit takuninganit sivuliktirio suungummiyu wampakustui First Nation kunit lahattalo miyu Facebook kutiru Sunday ngutilu takuaruq tamatsuminga kiuyuviniit first responders sukattualumi kiusiaqtuviniit takuningani ayuviniutsutilut kisiani runnavilimaamminit yuviniuqaluarpataq ilauningituuqaluaq takua ilunnangit sitameit inurunaituviniit pinsuartupaalu hattatuit takua kutuarapimiut wampakustimiut atutauma yuviniutsutit isumalu rio hattasutilu takualun nallinattuussuti aalumiuqalua isumari hattatavut GoFundMe page hattaloyuviniit Facebook kutirut Hari Maria Tiago Matsarovita kuninganit himiku yutsavuti Facebookku hey ilauningituuqalua ismari hattatavutaaqua kutuarapimiut wampakustuimiullu ammalu teikkua Martin family aalumiuqalua inuita piri Kanatamit partnerpalia hattattuit takuninganit nuititsiisuunit nihituinnanit nirimaatitsiisuunit country food dinner layosu qalunaititu May 25 ngulaatilugu taakua nihimaatitsiisuunit ruviasutitsiisuummiyut nihituinnavunit nuititsiisiasuungummiyullut pimmariunnipaursuungummat taakua nihittuineit inutuinnanut Katititsiisiasuungutsutilut taakua community members angayuqaat ammalu teikkua pinsuttiit inui pinsuttiminut katititsiisiasuungummiyu taakua nihituineit nanilimaat inui nunangani pisimasuut nunami pisimatsunit inui nunanganit ammalu tariungilut taakua nirimaat takutitsiisuut silaqtuali miulimaanut pimmariunipausuungummat taakua nihivut uvattinut taakua pinsutti lahattatuit huviasu tuinaungito tanna juuraloa kisianitakkutitsiisiasuungummiyu kinatuinakkunitakkua pimmariunnipausuungummiyu uvattinut ammalut kingovaarilaartavunnilu taakkuninganiit tickets taarumatsaruvit inuittapirit Kanatamit haritaujakkut harisartausiarunnerajaqmiyut Facebook kutirut ammalut website ngani harisartiartalaaripusit aadawami taakkua nirimaatitsiiqattalaamiyu ammalu Air Inuit hangattajukutirut nutaanit initaaktuvinit tamani Montrealmit 60 nit nutaanit pinsuraqta pinasutiitaatuvinit taakkua init ticket agent khalunaitituulayussuut ammalu itsiviliriit tamani Montrealmi ಪಿᕙᓪᓕಅᔪ hattatuutaakwa suuttara asianingaat pinsuttinit Air Inuit musimangittunit contractors layussuut khalunaititun pinasuttiitaahattaqata taakkuninga kisianitaakkua Air Inuit kutirut pinasuttingiilla hattalaujummiyu taakkua init 뚜ᓵᓃꒃᓴᐃᓪᓗ Inuit hanungisiaqnikut nakutsahut ammalu atautsikut taakkua 60 new employees ilau hattatutaakkuninganit nuititsiiriutsattunit hangattayunit Boeing 737 nit taakkua hangattayut tamatsumingat passengers muulingajut ammalu cargo taakkua pimmarialuqiosuungummiyut nunavimiulimaanut hautama attusuuvut taakkua harjumaliriiqattaq ilunnangi suungajutitsiiqasuartatuit ammalut taakkua alianartupaalumi tusaarsuni nutaanit taakkua 14% hangattayutiit pilots ilu atnariausuungummiyu taakkua above the global average atjiringitumit hangitu silaqtualimaanit aliana taakkua nutaa nui hattatuit alianartupaalu hattasutilut pimmariu nipaurio hattamat nunavimmiunnut layo hattatut suungujutitsiiqattalaamiyullut taakkua hautama attusuuvunni lahattasutalut teimangat ukiangakkasaaliqmat springtime qarimayuinaurunnauqata taakkuat hangattalituarutta atjiringittumit hanutuinna upataurunasiunguatta uutuutiitillugut silavut silalu kallassappat taakkua hajumayuinauatta astipaliariaqasuungummat hangattayu ngatta schedules or cancellations or mechanicals but atuinnausiartalaarivusit patnapaliatsiartalaarivusit hajumayuinauatta hangattuinna silavut astipaliarunnamat ta hangattalituaruttiit taakkua nunaviup iluanit hajumatsia tuinnauhattalaarivusit patnasimatsiartalaarivusillut ammalu taakkua amisoalui nunavimmiut tamani Montrealmi kattingarittu hattatuit halunaititu all organization meeting layo hattatu amisoalui tamani Montrealmit sitamani ulluni kattirittu hattatuit pimmarialuqiosuungummiyut nunavimmiulimaanut taakkua uhattaurali hattatuit amissuit tussauma reittuhattasutillut reittuhatsiahattasutillut ammalupat napaleahattasutillut hannuttaakkuningani pimmariunnippau unit ippasa teikuna katingayuni ilaureittuqalaappirunnassilauivunga tusaumarittussunga ಪಿᕙᓪᓕಅᔪನಿಮಿu unna drug trafficking layosut utuutitilugua misualuit drugs nunavimut aiqattamata immaha teinna aitutuiyit dealer qariyautsapat nunavimmit anittitauqayaqmiyuq qallunaanguppat inutuinau qaluarpalut taana uhattauqaliqattalaumiyut Inuit isumaluriangitaaqua ಪಿᕙᓪᓕಅᔪನಿಮಿut suuttara qanungisiarnikut kamatsianippauriarasuunguatta taaqqua drugs nu angiaattunut upatautsaquarutta sukkuititsissuungummiu uvattini qauyumatsiaratta taaqqua isumaluriausuumminit uhattalaumiyut teinna poliisiiliriissuungummiut uhattaloyummiut taakkuningani patnappaliaqattamata qanu kama qayaqmangaataat tusaumarumat yuvaniut sutilu taakkuningalima katingayunit taakkua ಪಿᕙᓪᓕಅᔪನಿಮಿut amissuit kisiani ilunnangit katitsutit suunguyutitsiirunnaqayaqmiyavut tukitaatsiarunnaqayaqmiyavut harima taruvit tahkuninganit aitutuiyit qallunaititu drug dealers ni KRPF uppatau sautirisiarumaliqmiyuq tukitaaqayaqmiyullut harisattaurumanngitsaruvилут anonymous tip mi runnaqayaqmiyutit ati hariyau ngittuappa runnammiyu nakutsahut taaqqua tamaanimatriarmit katinga reittussimayuit ಪಿᕙᓪᓕ 5 minit uhareittussimayuillut ammalut katinga vimi ammalutuyu miavimi pitahatsiangimu nunavimi tamaanimatriarmit katinga samarimmatta hangakia taana astilaaqmiyuqaluat nunavimit taaqqua katinga tiarunnahattalaatsaluarpataq ammalu ಪಿᕙᓪᓕник kitaapi uhaarikainaqaluarmiyaqa kisianit una harisaqtik nutaa nuiqattalarmiyut study layosu qallunaititu ಪಿᕙᓪᓕmitsaanu nunaviup iluani uhaattalormiyut taaqqua ಪಿᕙᓪᓕnik tuberculosis isumainaalu nginnaaqattatu nunavimit aaniavivut uhumailiut saaqattasunilu taakkuninga kamarianik taana harisaqtik hariqattalaumiyut taaqqua kinariaqatsiangimut ammalu runnavirala kinariaqatsiangimut runnavirala haattangitu taamatuminga kamatsiarianik taaqqua harisaqtiit 156 inuit nu ilautitauhattayuvinit sunasuli ಪಿᕙᓪ್ಣಿಪಾungummangaata tamatsuminga ಪಿᕙᓪᓕmitsaanu nunavimit taakkuaru inui uhaattalaujummiyut sunasuli takurumariaqmangaata takurumariartuit taakkua aaniaviup turinnatuit innunnut iluqqusivunnit kamatsiannik imaanga available services rather than provide like utuutitilugutaanna program centered innunnu turinnatuk taakkua services isuari qayaqtavut inuttitumi taakkua uhattauva yavaqaliqattatu amissunnut lahattalaajut sutiluutaaqua inuit uppattaujuviniit taku rumariartuit pivalluunit kamatsianit nunaviup iluanit ammalut aulagumariangituit kamariaveriannit matriamut ammalutaaqua amissualuit pivallu ngutiliru piarautsutiit aulattitauqattayuviniit utuutitilurut 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s qala imuanit nunhaqqaasimayunit anniavit pivallunut tuqainnartasimayut tamaanit qallunaanunanganit tamatsuminga aulahattalorsimaruviut kavamakkunut akilitaugunnariarmiyutit haritaujakku harisartaugunnassiarayarmiyutit. Thank you all for listening in today. That was our news and current affairs. Up next, after this short break, we're going to tune into a pre-recorded interview with William Tuguna. Thank you and stay tuned. Yep. Interesting perception, because I think an important part of self-determination as Inuit, like you said, is, being able to tell our own stories in our own voices, in our own languages. But I think this can also span across other indigenous nations as well. We are the people who held the land first. And to be able to tell our own stories is what really self-determination is. To define who we are, our histories, our presents, and our futures is a really important aspect of being Native. And seeing a pioneer Indigenous journalist like you, who has spanned over 50 years of career covering various outlets, I'm very inspired. As a university student, I am also considering minoring in journalism or communications. And I'm sure there's many of our audience who are watching today who are also curious to know how it works and what is inspiring. So over the past 50 years of you covering everything, is there one specific time that you feel was most important to your career?
I think when I start to see our own people, well, first of all, when we got into journalism, it's because we didn't want to just read somebody else's script anymore. We were reading Kablunak written scripts. They were not our thoughts. We were just reading them because we're told to. And I've had issues in Iqaluit. When I used to work in the newsroom in Iqaluit, one of the readers, Jonah Kelly, the famous Jonah Kelly, and he's not around anymore, but he had the Order of Canada even. He came up and said, "I'm not going to read that script." And all hell broke loose in the newsroom because he has to be on in 5 minutes. The whole North is listening. So the manager, the editors all came out and they said, "No, you have to read the script." And I said, "No, he doesn't. Look at what you're telling him to read. That's not an Inuk mind at all. As a matter of fact, it's going to make the Inuit that are listening turn the radio off. And the English reporter said, no, that is what really drives news. I said, not in Inuktitut, it doesn't. So they took it off. And I start to realize, hey, we can change things. And we started our own, at CBC, we started our own Inuit Services Committee so that the Inuit journalists had their own board because the Kablunas were making decisions on our stories without even understanding what we're putting on air. They said we need Inuit to make those decisions that understand what we're doing. So it's been quite a trip for the last 50 years. I think if you look at where we started back in the 1970s to now, the opportunities are so huge now. I think we've made points through the many years, and people like you, Louisa, we're really, really hoping that you'll take the banner because we can't stop now. We've gone way, way too far to go backwards. And the opportunities nowadays, through the social media, we didn't have that. When we started, we barely had a telephone to work with, and we had to go there to go get the story. And we really depended on transmitters in every community to try and put the story out. Nowadays, we got social media. Look at you and I. You're interviewing me on the internet. Wow, this is really something.
Wow, I can't even imagine the evolution that you've seen in your 50 years in this field. Wow. It really
Yeah.
gives me a perspective all over again. Uh, do you have anything to share with our viewers today about journalism, about being an Inuk journalist, a pioneer, and a nostalgic voice in all of our homes?
Yeah, it's always really nice today. I'm 73 years old now, and as I said, I started when I was about 22 years old, and I got the disease. I really got the bug, and I've just uh, held on to that for all these years. Doing stories, I just really like it because there's so many ups and downs. There's times when we used to do stories in Iqaluit, and when your story is being read on the news, your face would be red because you're there beside the phone. Someone's going to probably call you really angry at you for the way you did the story. It goes with the seed, I'm afraid. You have to do the story as you saw it. You're the reporter. And so today, at 73 years old, the greatest thing I ever hear is from young people that would come up to me and once in a great while and say, William, I want to shake your hand. They're not from Kudra, they're from other communities. I used to listen to you when I was in my mom's Amautik.
Oh,
I was carried by my mom and I would hear you, your voice I would hear. So those are used to pretty special. These are just little kids that got used to a voice. Such as last year, I went to Inukjuak and I had to go through Kudjuak, and we were lining up, and someone heard the voice, and that person came said, "I've been listening to you since I was." There's that voice. That's what you look like. Yeah. So people they notice. The young people notice. Even very young ones notice when you're speaking in Inuktitut. That's the biggest uh, uh, kuya ng nakpak, the most glorious thing when the young people go to you and say things like that.
I think you are the original Inuk influencer.
When
Uh,
we started going to Greenland and to Alaska and doing our stories from over there, I think that's where we really made our mark. When we from Canada, all Inuit group, no Kablunax with us at all. We covered the Inuit Circumpolar Conference meetings, and we would do live shows from, let's say, Greenland, and we're at the Kalashit Radio in their radio station in Greenland, and we're doing stories with the Greenlanders. They're the Inuit. They're speaking Inuktitut too, but for their own people, and they're watching us. Oh, Kanatamit, and we're doing our stories right beside them. That is so something you didn't expect when you first started working on this. Back in '74, we didn't even know one Greenlander, and now we all know each other through social media. We even sing with Greenlanders now on the stage with a rock band. Yeah, that's how life has changed.
Yeah, it's really inspiring to hear you speak, but also I really hope um, for our audience who are listening in today that they understand, there is the journalistic aspect of being in front of a camera or in front of a mic, but there's so many other aspects that I just wanted to highlight before we end this interview. There are cameramen, soundmen, we have producers, executive producers. There's a lot of people who are actually behind the scene who are contributing. And when we think about journalism, we forget to incorporate these roles.
Really, exactly. You look at the jobs here, with the KRG, with the health board, they're bringing in people from the south to do their communications for them. And I always say, why? It's because we don't have enough Inuit going for those jobs. You could be a director of communications for the KRG. They're always looking for someone. And the salaries are very decent. If you're in communications, they need communicators. So normally the salary is very decent, as we like to say. Decent.
I totally agree, and I really think it's part of self-determination is being able to
Mm,
hold these roles and to be able to dictate how we are heard by the rest of the world and with each other.
yeah. And I've done shows in Montreal. Inuktitut shows. We go to that big CBC studio that they used to have. They've sold it since, but we did shows from down there. We did phone-in shows, and all the technicians that are the French technicians after our show would come up to us to congratulate us. They said, "Wow, I've never hosted Inuit people before. This is really good. I didn't know you guys can do this." Yeah. So it's always surprising to a lot of people where we're at.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Hey, Nakomitia William. Thank you for being here with us today at Uvalo TV. It's definitely an inspiring interview where I hope many Inuit, not just Inuit, other Indigenous First Nations will also be inspired to take back their voices and dictate how we are heard throughout the world. Nakomitia William.
Nakombi, Malik.
Nakomi utiratsi, nakomi lo William Teguna, tamatsuminga hahati hatsiarunna silauyummiyut. Qallunaititutu qaluatakkua tukusiriutsiarhui yavinirakkut kinlimaakunut ammalut inuit uvikanit amisoaluit nutanit pinsuraqni ismatsasiuqal tuappatat имтитук хаянкалуаравилут таматсуминга каюсируmatсарувит аюинахуигаluartavut инутуиннанут кисиани around this time of year ututi relatilirut амиссуарлинутаанит илиниаттиит исматсассиуқаттатуит сунамиссули илиниаруммариармангаата таккуат тақлиалиуриамит media journalism утутитилуут тусаутиккут илиниаруннариартуиллуут амиссуит каюсирума такунингаат амиссуалунируннавиқа na absolutely Here at Uvalo TV, we really feel inspired to share the meaningful interview from last fall with William Teguna. This interview serves as a powerful encouragement for Inuit youth to explore the dynamic fields of journalism and production. William Teguna's insights highlights the importance of storytelling and media representation for Inuit communities. By pursuing careers in journalism and production, young Inuit individuals can play a vital role in sharing stories and preserving their culture. and even more so, influencing the public perception. Absolutely. Ṱuᓵᓃᒃᓴηᓗ lahattatakat tukisiriutiaruyiram rumaramakин limakunut intuinanit inutituqqayanngikkaluaruvit runattaruviluunit ayuinahuyilik tavutakuninganikayusiriamit amissualuit pinassureet attiringittumit pitaqarmat tamatsuminga imuani utuutitilluguq camera liriyik editor, lights, sound, amissualui attiringittuit ᓴᖅကိᔮακauti지ᔬᓅ hey iliniavitsuamittaanu uhaakenaapigumatsungalu iliniavitsuakkunit iliniatiorama harimayuina hoolirama פיᕙᓪᓕഅᔪɁ last week finals layosu exams pintu ra takkani uvaru TV kunit part-time tuinapi juuralua kisiani iliniavitsuami full-time suunguraluartunga פיᕙᓪᓕഅᔪตู๊ taakkuningani piirikarasuariamit kisiani ayuinamu sapuchiiosiartaqamallu kisianiusimmayut piirisimaleqqunga taakkua JBNQA kunit kativiup ilinia lirinit sapuchiisiasuungummata tamatsumingat ismatsasiutaruvit kayusiriami iliniavimi tamani Montrealmit ammalu asianit qalunanunanganit ikayuttausiasuunguvurut sapuchiusiasuunguvurut latuinarumatsungalu umingalu takutitsiirumatsunga ilitsinit unnassanasimayara iliniavitsuaranit final project qani wampum belt Hondenashoni Mohawk piusinganit iliniajuviniuqatta taakkua wampum belt sanajauqattasimayuit qalunanit nunaqqaasimayunilut angirutiiriuqattasimayut tara inutuinaugama una iqalluappiup leather fish leather mi atutsunga ammalu fish spine uminga sanasimatsunga tamatsuminga iliniavitsuaranit tuqainnatu una iqaluatnialunginnaasunilu mamariyorattasuni hey nakumiqalarumatsunga William Tagunamit ammalu taakkua ullumi uhausik word of the day qalunaittituulayuussuut упекнгаак тамаани упекнгаалигата тамаани Montrealmi упекнгаасаак нунавимит упекнгаариавиhattatut ipinahattatut so in English here in Montreal it's springtime, but in Nunavik it's almost springtime, which is упекнгаасаак, and spring is упекнгаак. So again, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in today. It's been a great pleasure to spend this time with you. Again, I want to say thank you to all of our viewers, William Tuguna, who was able to be with us during this interview. And again, I'm Louisa Yeates here with Uvavut TV.